Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Last time, we discovered that this island is not what it appears. It's actually an illusion. Now it's just a matter of breaking from that illusion and waking the windfish, which is why we have to wake the windfish in the first place. We also played a little mini game, which was kind of fun. At least in my opinion, I think it was fun. But today we're going to be tackling the 6th dungeon of the game. Now, how we're going to get there is pretty simple. From the animal village, you're going to head towards the ruins we were at earlier when we found out about the island, Caholan Island itself. But instead of going to the south shrine, we're going to go to the north shrine because the owl did insist that we check out the south shrine first earlier. But we did go up there earlier in the playthrough just to I think it was a secret seashell we went to get. I think it would have made more sense for me to hold off again that secret seashell until I actually had to come here for the first time, but whatever. Too late, can't be undone. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go this way like you would for wanting to do the rapids thing, but instead we're gonna go over here. We're gonna attack this guy, throw him, and then go down these stairs. You might be able to throw him in the water, but I never tried that. Gonna shimmy along here. Well, shimmy, more like just hookshot our way to the other side. And this is where our dungeon will be at. So once we put the key inside the keyhole, we should be good to go. Welcome to Dungeon 6, the Face Shrine. I also love how the game tells you what dungeon you're at, just in case you forgot the number of the dungeon. Alright, for one, we got, before I get into the dungeon itself, we got a new enemy here, Wizrobes. You remember from the Link to the Past? Well, you can't simply slash these guys. I've tried. What you're gonna want to do is use that bow and arrow. I think the boomerang works too. I didn't feel like using it because I haven't used this bow at all. I got it, so I figured I'd try to get some use out of it. I did spend money on this. Anyway, I get some 50 rupees here. That's pretty good. But basically, what the Wizrobes are going to do? We can't lift that, by the way. You probably are. Apparently, it's too heavy, so you probably already know what the dungeon item is that we're going to be receiving. It's kind of boring, but anyways, with the Wizrobes, basically what they do is whenever they appear, they're going to shoot a projectile directly in front, in the direction they're facing. They do not shoot diagonally. They can only shoot up, down, left, or right, based off of where they're facing. And whenever you either attack them or they just sort of, they sort of escape into the floor, they always respawn where in the same spot they went into the floor. So they'll go into the floor and then they'll come back out of the floor in the same exact spot. You just want to be careful when you're getting bombarded with a bunch of them, because it can be a bit taxing to handle them, especially if you're just playing this game normally. Because for what it's worth, those beams do hurt a little bit. These little green orb things, I don't know what the heck these are supposed to be called. They're just meant to get in your way. They don't actually do anything. I kind of wonder why they're there, if they're just, I don't know. Especially considering that's the only time you ever see those weird things. After this, we never see them again, so it's like, alright, that was a thing. It's really strange. Anyways, now it's time to talk about the dungeon itself. I don't like this dungeon. For one, it's essentially split up into the left side of the dungeon and the right side of the dungeon. Oh yeah, by the way, we got the power bracelet level 2, essentially. Now we can pick up these statues. We got it quite early. We got the dungeon item pretty early. If you know what you're doing, this dungeon shouldn't take you very long. Maybe? I don't know. I don't like this dungeon. I think this is one of the longer... this is like the start of the game where the dungeons get really long. I know I said this about Catfish's Wall, but I feel like that dungeon was long for all the wrong reasons because of the stupid Stalfos Knight making off with your dungeon item because lol. But with this dungeon, it just feels long. Whereas Catfish's Wall was lengthy for the wrong reasons, this dungeon is lengthy for practically no reason. Like, this dungeon isn't exactly interesting. And the other thing is, when you get the dungeon map, like this level is called Face Shrine, right? It doesn't exactly resemble a face. Like you'll see the dungeon map in full when I do pick up that item. I don't know, it just looks really strange to me. It doesn't look like a face at all. And a lot of the rooms just insist you just... I mean, I guess there is one puzzle in this dungeon that's interesting, and it is carried to the next dungeon as well. So that's cool, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But as for the dungeon itself, once again, it's split into two parts. The left side and the right side. The second you enter the dungeon, you're going to notice there's immediately a split path. It doesn't exactly matter which way you choose, because you're going to have to go to both sides either way. It's just a matter of when you're going to go to one side or the other. It's just that it's most prominent that you take the left path, because not only do you get your dungeon item that way, you also... Oh wait, no, I did get the dungeon map. What am I talking about? Yeah, that dungeon, yeah, like I said, the map doesn't look like a face at all. It's... Yeah, see, look at that. It's so weird. Unless if it's like supposed to be some sort of demon face? I don't know. But not only do you want to do the left side first to get the dungeon item, there's actually a secret seashell in this dungeon. Yeah, we haven't had one of those in a while. At least in a dungeon. The only time we ever saw that was in the first dungeon of the game, Tail Cave. But there is one in this dungeon, and it's a good idea you don't leave without it. However, well, okay, well, I say that, but just giving you a heads up now, your final, the Cajolan Sword is probably the best reward you can get. Like, once you obtain 40 of the secret seashells, you got the best reward. Unfortunately, the final reward it's not very amazing. All you basically get for getting all 50 is a bunch of rupees, and I believe a rock. Chamber stone, or whatever. Gunnar says 100 rupees here. I'll explain those things on the floor in a second, because go up these stairs, open this chest, and we get our secret seashell. Interesting little tidbit with how you can actually, there's another entrance to the Face Shrine. It kind of reminds me of Skull Woods, just it's not mechanically interesting, it's just an exit. Okay, now with these horse statues, they operate the same way they do in chess. Assuming you've never played chess before, or just can't seem to remember the rules like me, these horse statues move in an L formation. So whenever you pick one up and throw it, it will always act as if it's going in an L shape. So you need to consider your positioning whenever you're trying to throw these guys. I kind of like how the remake does this puzzle with these horses much more than the original. Because like with this one, you need to consider where you're standing when you throw the horse statues. In the original game, it was just a matter of keep throwing it until it stands upright, and then you complete the puzzle. Woo. So it is mechanically more interesting. it might, it might take you a little bit longer to figure out, especially if you're someone that doesn't remember the rules at all and refuses to use like a guide or something like this, like my Let's Play for an example as a guide. It's like a blind person would get to this dungeon and severely raise some eyebrows when it comes to that puzzle, because it's like, I mean, I guess they would eventually figure out that the horses they sort of bounce in a very interesting way. This is a little callback to Link to the Past, by the way. Some of the rooms in this dungeon, the floor will attack you. I don't know what that has anything to do with Face Shrine, the name of the dungeon, but whatever. So basically, these 4 tiles will attack you, just survive, and the door opens. It's more of a test of patience, if you ask me, rather than a test of brain power. Which I wouldn't blame you if you don't like this dungeon either. I mean, for what it's worth, because now that I'm actually listening to it, because I really wasn't listening to it when I was actually recording, because, you know, I had to focus on the game. I actually think the music is pretty nice. Okay, we got a mini-boss. I don't remember this thing's name, but it looks weird. Alright, so basically what you gotta do is pick up the ball and you throw it at it. That's all there is to it. Like, whenever it throws the ball, or whenever the ball gets away, it will hop towards it really fast. And I'm pretty sure it is much faster than you. So you kind of have to be really close to it to even have a chance of being able to throw it. But you throw it 4 times and there we go. It's not a really hard mini boss. It can either be really annoying or kind of a joke, depending on how you go about things. Do not go for that chest, because I discovered this during my test playthrough. I think I end up opening it during this recording as well. I can't explain why, but all I could say is do not bother with that chest if you manage to if you have the secret potion from Lady Luck or whatever she's called. Lady Luck, isn't that a Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts? Anyways. Oh, Crazy Tracy, that's what it was, Crazy Tracy. I don't know why I said Lady Luck, but if you still have if you got the secret potion from Crazy Tracy and you still manage to hold on to it even now, don't bother with that chest, because and this sort of carries on with the next two, with the last 2 dungeons of the game. Be it the next one and the one after. There's a chest with the secret medicine inside. So if you did end up using your secret medicine, I do advise you pick that up on your way out. Otherwise, don't. Would I recommend backtracking for that medicine in case you do end up using it before the end of your adventure? I probably wouldn't think so, because it's not like you're gonna really do anything with these rupees we have anymore, really. I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, no, there's really not much else you could use these rupees on. We already bought the bow and arrow. I already explained to use 300 rupees to get your shovel back. After that, there's not much else to really spend money on. I mean, there's obviously the crane game, which you can still get figurines for, as well as a returning mini game. There's also the rapids race if you want to get all 3 rewards. I don't blame you if you don't. I did. Now this part's a little awkward, because you're in a confined space. It's nothing bad, though. Again, they always operate in an L shape. Also keep in mind that the white or black one will always work in the opposite way that the other one did. So if you throw the white one to the right and it bounces upward, throwing the black one, it'll bounce downwards if you throw it to the right. It works in reverse. If you want it to go upwards, you throw it to the left instead of down, the right. Ah, the Dodongos are back. And unfortunately, we do have to kill these poor things. And it's not that much more, dangerous with the pitfalls being there. It's just kind of tedious. Because you sort of have to maneuver around a little more cautiously. And this could waste a lot of time depending on the, how the Dodongos like to, like, you see like that. It just did a 180. It was the first time me ever seeing it. I was like, they could do that? But just like, you know, with the previous fight, 3 bombs and they pop like balloons. Alright, I guess I don't go for that chest. Alright. Oh. Or, wait. No, that's not a chest, it's just... I'll be taking care of that later. I'm having to do this dungeon a very weird way because of what rooms lead to where. And I'm just trying to limit the amount of backtracking I have to do because backtracking in this dungeon kind of stinks. Also, we got 300 rupees. Whoa, more money I don't really need. And assuming I didn't say it before, your reward for getting all the figurines is kind of lame. Because at this point I did finish everything. I did finish recording all the footage for the game, so everything is ready to go to get some post commentary on. It's just, that final reward for the figurines is really lame. And just to jump the gun on that a bit, you actually can't get all the figurines until you beat the game, because the last one doesn't become available until you finish it. So you have to beat the game, reload the save file, and then go to the trendy game, and then the last figurine should appear. It just really sucks, and I kind of hate it. Also, my TV signal crapped out again. Oh boy, this, I probably should have edited that out, but too late. Can't take it back now, y'all. You could leave. You can leave the video if you really want to after I just said that. I'm very sorry. Oh no, okay, no, I don't think it was my TV. I think I was trying to figure out where the heck I was going, because I admittedly got a little bit lost, despite this being my second romp through this dungeon. Because again, this dungeon is really long, and for what it's worth, it's also easy to get lost in. Open this chest. And that's the secret medicine. Waste of time. I guess I just wanted to show off where that was. Again, this is the part where I started to get a little confused, because again, this dungeon is really long for no reason. It's not even mechanically interesting for what it's worth. The horse statues are pretty... I'm sorry, horse chess pieces are pretty cool, I suppose, but otherwise, I don't know, I'm not too interested in this dungeon. Like, I still think Angler's Tunnel was my favorite dungeon in the game, just because of its aesthetic and sound design. Like, alright, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to survive this endeavor, and then a key should appear right on that very obvious spot where a key would probably be at. And there we go. Okay, I believe we can progress now. Yeah, this was the one thing I forgot, for what it's worth. I just totally forgot about this. I think I know where I'm going now. So we should be able to finish this dungeon. It is also one of the longer recording sessions I had to do because of just how big this dungeon is. It was easy to get lost in. I don't think it's as bad as the last dungeon in the game, which is really long. Like the last main dungeon of the game at the very least, but it could suck for a first time player. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Alright, so now that we managed to get through that, if we go alongside here... Ow. Lots of backtracking through this. Also, obviously, with these tiny womps, they try to crush you if you're taking too long, which is why I use the Pegasus boots for that. So I actually found out that during this playthrough that those bunnies can actually be stunned. You can throw them at each other. Sounds kind of mean when I actually think about it, but I don't know. I think it's funny. Oh yeah, for some reason this chest is weird. To open a treasure chest, use the pots around it. For some reason, this is the only chest in the. This is also the only thing they do once. On top of those green circle blob things we saw earlier, this is the only time where they require you to throw a pot at a chest. And I just felt like it was needless, in my opinion. It's just, I just want to finish the dungeon. Just give me the key and I can leave. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm just going to make a shortcut by warping to the entrance. And then taking the portal to the other thing. So I can get the heck out of here. So I've probably already acquired the abilities, or the special added effects, for the chamber dungeons, and I haven't explained them yet. So I guess now would be a good time to talk about them, since I won't be exactly showing them off. So whenever you're doing a chamber dungeon, whenever you're creating a chamber dungeon, you have the option to add these little extra effects into the dungeon. In the case of the first special effect you get, you can have bombs rain all over the place. I'm not exactly sure if those are bombs that you can collect and add to your inventory, or bombs that'll just sort of spontaneously fall and explode a whole bunch. There's also going to be rupees that shower every once in a while, one for hearts, and the effect for doing the last chamber dungeon, I'll explain later we're at the boss. Hey dummy, need a hint? My weak point is... Whoops, there I go, talking too much. This is Facade. Now this boss is kind of lame. Basically, all it really does is sort of stand there and take bombs like a wuss. The main attraction with this boss, if you want to call it that, is the tiles will start attacking you just like in those other rooms. And once the tiles stop, you run out of tiles, the pots start attacking you, and then pitfalls will start appearing. As you do more damage to Facade, the pitfalls will appear more rapidly. So you do want to be careful, because after a while they'll start spawning like nuts. Specifically around the final hit, which I believe is right here. Yeah, done. Okay, listen up. If the windfish wakes up, everything on this island will be gone forever. And I do mean everything! Now it's pretty interesting because with the previous dungeon, the slime eel did sort of foreshadow that little plot twist. It's like at the end of the boss fight, he's like, you still don't know what kind of island this is. And now Facade's just like, yeah, if you wake the windfish up, everything is gone. Like everything will be gone. So it's like, at least at this point in the game, you gotta start asking you're probably asking yourself, are we just taking away these the home of these creatures, the enemy, the bosses of the dungeons? Are they just afraid that they're gonna lose their home? We just sort of got shipwrecked on this island, and now we're just trying to, and we really want to do is get out of here. And the only way to do that is to make the island disappear. So at this point, the player feels a sense of guilt, I suppose. The many monsters of this island fear that the windfish is about to awaken. The monster's power is real. They may conquer the island and destroy their foes. The day may come soon. Now go to the mountain tower, fly like a bird, hoot hoot. But I'm not a bird. I'm not a bird. He's gone. Alright, so now that we managed to complete the face shrine, I guess we can just call it a part. Next time on The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, we're gonna see what this owl meant by fly like a bird. Cause it's actually pretty neat, I suppose. So until then, I got a juice.